Appreciate it. Yes. So now we are recording. So we have to be on our best behavior. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Welcome, everybody. You obviously came because you wanted to learn a little bit about e-commerce, whether you are pivoting, whether you are ready, or whether you're just trying to figure things out. And so I am here to help you with that. So I will say that e-commerce has truly blown up in this COVID environment. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I know this topic is in high demand because entrepreneurs are feeling lost. They feel overwhelmed in this season of various pandemics. They feel disconnected and sometimes disoriented. And also, more than 8% of small businesses are solopreneurs, right? And that just means that e-commerce is just one more thing, one more hat that an entrepreneur has to wear, or one more item on their to-do list, or one more thing that just seems totally unattainable, right? And so I want to leave you all with some hope, right? Before we get into this content, I just want to let you know that this too shall pass. I know it feels like it's been going on forever, and it feels like it may continue to go on forever, but there has to be an end to all of this. And so that's the hope that I want to start this content with, the hope that this pandemic will pass, the stress that a lot of us are under, that it will pass, the isolation will pass, the quarantine, the teleworking, all of this stuff, it will pass. And after all these things pass, what we don't want to pass is your business. We want you to still be in business after all these things have taken place. And so take a moment before we get started. I know a lot of us, for me, for example, I've gone from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting. So I do want to give us just 30 seconds to just breathe. A lot of your cameras are already off, but if you feel free to turn them off or turn them on, whatever, and just in the moment, breathe. Okay. Now, e-commerce. When I'm leading a meeting, I try to always ask folks, how are you entering this space? Because sometimes we are not our personal best, and sometimes we are. And today I'm entering in my personal best. So I'm happy to say that. Yesterday, not so much, maybe not even tomorrow. But let's talk about e-commerce. COVID-19 forced millions of small businesses all around the world to consider e-commerce. It was like, ready or not, here you come. And so some of us just wasn't ready, right? Like what's his name? The comedian, Kevin Hart. He said, I wasn't ready. We just were not ready. And those of us that were ready, we were probably in for a rude awakening, right? We did try to pivot. Some of us pivoted successfully. Some of us did not. We learned a few lessons. Regardless of which category you fall into, preparing to sell or start selling online, recovering from some costly mistakes, or mitigating the fallout of being forced into e-commerce, this quick workshop will at least give you some ideas on moving forward or not. And the reason why I say or not is because the reality is that e-commerce is not for everybody. The reality is, if you have an experience or a product, you probably should have some online presence, but it is truly like putting on another hat, putting another thing on your to-do list. And so you need to prepare for that, okay? So I don't want you to just walk into this thing thinking, okay, this is sweet, this is cool, let me just walk into it. No, okay? So before we get started, let me give you just a few numbers. In 2019, the US had 271 million online shoppers. Now that number is expected to reach more than 300 million by 2023. So more than 263 million American consumers shop online right now. That's 80% of the population. 80% of the population. And COVID-19 will likely cause that prediction to be accelerated, right? Because of the impact of COVID-19 on in-store shopping and U.S. commerce revenues. In 2020, commerce, just in the U.S., revenues grew by 32.4%. This is more than double of the 15% growth that happened in 2019. So we know that we all was sitting on this couch and just like ordering like crazy, not willing to go outside, or even when we were able to go outside, just got comfortable and maybe a little bit lazy ordering online because it just became our new normal, right? So those are just some of the numbers that I wanted to share. Another number, this is a bigger number, right? So online shopping conducted through smartphones, right? Smartphones. There was a report that I read that said there are more smartphones in the house than toothbrushes. But anyways, online shopping conducted through smartphones accounted for roughly $117 billion. These are just US numbers. That was in 2019. Sales made directly through smartphones is expected to hit $209 billion in 2022, right? These numbers are important, and I'll get to why in a moment. This is another, now this is a huge number. If y'all can see, that's like 13 zeros, okay? So this is $1 trillion number, right? So $4.2 trillion. This is globally. That's what the sales are expected to reach this year in 2021. We only have 43 more days left in 2021. Can y'all believe that? I mean, 2022 is right around the corner, okay? So this is up like $3.5 trillion since 2020. So future estimates put the total at more than 6.5 trillion by 2024. Huge numbers, right? Back to the US market. There was a poll done by the National Public Radio show. 76% of all American adults shop online. There's a tendency of online shopping stats that shows that 25% of them shop at least once a month. 16% of them shop online at least once a week. And then the younger consumers make way more unplanned purchases than the average shopper. Almost 80% of younger consumers buy online impulsively. And of the millions of Americans who shopped online in 2020, 44% of them made impulse purchases. And guess when they're making them? In the middle of the night, when we can't sleep, right? When we're thinking about all kinds of crazy crap and we're scrolling through Facebook and something just come up and we just like, bloop, and then we never get it. One time I went through my PayPal and I was just like, wait a minute, I never got this stuff. I was disputing like 17 things because I'm one of those people that's in these numbers, okay? So listen, I'm almost done with the numbers, but 1994. Anybody remember where they were in 1994? 1994. I can tell you where I was. I was graduating high school. 1994. That is the year I graduated high school. But this number represents the very first time that someone purchased anything online. Y'all remember that dial-up modem sound? This was the first year of any online purchase. First year. What do y'all think was purchased online? Tell me in the chat box. What do you think was the very first online purchase? And don't be going to go Googling stuff either. Susan said she was married with 2 little boys and working at a large energy and information and technology company. Still married to the same guy. Wow. Okay, Susan, you remember 1994. You think it was a fax machine that was purchased online? Some pet stuff, somebody said a book, some clothes. Okay, those are really good guesses. Listen, the first thing that was purchased online was actually a music CD. Was it a CD? Or no, it wasn't a CD. Sorry. It was a music tape. Actually, no, it was a CD. It was a CD. Sorry. It was a CD. It was a CD. I know some of us remember cassette tapes and some of us don't, but it was definitely a CD that was purchased online. That was the very first thing that was purchased online. So this was 1 year before Amazon even started, right? 26 years ago, 27 years ago, right? 1 year before Amazon even started. And it was a music CD. Can y'all guess who was the music? Who was the artist of the music CD back in 1994? I'm sure you could guess, Susan.
Michael Jackson, maybe? No?
It was not Michael Jackson. I'm gonna tell y'all about that later. I'm gonna go on. But yes, thank you for guessing and thank you for the cooperation because I really appreciate it. So listen, the point I'm trying to make is that selling online pays off. There's so many folks out there buying online. The numbers prove that it pays to sell online, right? Online shopping statistics show that having a digital presence is super duper duper important. It's no longer just a place to sell or just a placeholder to show what your business is all about. Consumers are now discovering new products, they're reading reviews, they're comparing pricing before making any type of online purchase. So it's absolutely important to be online. Think about it. If you only got 1% of those online sales or even 2% of those online buyers to be repeat customers, that can make a significant difference in your revenues, right? So it's important for us to understand the relevance and the importance of being online because it does pay, okay? So today we're going to talk about online searches and purchases. We're going to talk about the benefits of e-commerce, some platforms for e-commerce. I know Robin told us about one, some strategies for e-commerce, and then we're going to talk about how you can get some help along the way, okay? Let me tell you what this conversation will not be about. We only are here for an hour, okay? So it will not be all encompassing. You will not walk away with all the answers to e-commerce, but you will walk away with some direction, okay? And some support if you choose to reach out or if you choose to move into that direction, right? So any questions about any of that so far? And I need you guys to be interactive, so just say yes or no or whatever. I agree with you, Susan. Daryl probably did because he was in business back then and selling CDs. So he probably remembered the first CD, even though he probably wasn't the one to sell it. So you're right. But any questions? Yes or no? I need to hear from you all in the chat. No questions? Yes, here's my question. Just need to hear and make sure that I am not alone. This is my love language. When I'm teaching online and when I'm virtual like this, I need to hear from you because otherwise I don't feel like you love me. So this is my love language. I need to hear from you. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Robin. I love you too. But this is my love language. This is how I know. So a little bit about me. So now that you have enough information about what we're going to talk about today, let me tell you a little bit about me. I have been in your shoes, maybe even worse off than some of you. I was actually forced into e-commerce by a high demand for my services as a solopreneur. And I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I fumbled along and made a ton of mistakes. And I also just learned a lot. I learned a whole lot. And so I teach those same principles to my clients. Another thing about me is I've survived quite a few disasters. I am a disaster reservist with FEMA. That's that cute little picture up there on the right. Right? I've been a reservist since 2011, so I've gone through a lot of disasters. And so when I look at what's going on now with COVID-19, I know for some of us, we're like, oh my God, this is unprecedented times. I've never been through anything like this. Guess what? We're going to get through it. There are people that have gone through stuff like this and even worse things, right? But we're going to get through it. So just wanted to let you know that I absolutely love solving my clients' problems. I'm a certified business advisor, and I'm also a small business owner who loves to help other small business owners. I have a passion for the underserved, the historically underserved businesses, especially Black-owned businesses, people who just may not know or know how to navigate systems, and the folks that look like me that can benefit from my services. So I absolutely love that. In addition to that, I'm an educator. I just took on a position at Seattle Central College. I am the Dean of STEM and Business, and I've been teaching there economics and entrepreneurship for the last 2 years. And I love teaching. And hopefully you can see that. So anyways, let's get ready. All right, so listen, let's take a moment. Type in the chat. Number one, I have 2 questions for you all. Do you currently shop online? And if you do, which platform do you start with? Do you currently shop online? And which platform do you start with if you're searching for something? Okay. Google, Amazon, Google. I saw the W Marketplace. Okay. Beautiful. Wonderful. So one of the sources that I used was a Marist College report. And if anybody's interested in all of the sources that I use for this, please email me later and I will make sure you get them, because I like geeking out on data. As you can see, that's why I started the way that I did. But although Google is the #1 search engine in the US, more online shoppers turn to Amazon first when shopping, right? Because Amazon has been around for quite some time, right? And it's known as the shopping platform. So when looking to purchase an item online, 44% of online shoppers start with Amazon. And then 33% go to Google. And then you can see that's even relevant in the answers that we have in the chat right there, right? About 10% of shoppers start at a specific online store like a Target or a Walmart or Best Buy. And then 6% search for brands. Like if they're looking for an actual phone, they might go to the Samsung site or the Apple site or whatever. Or if they're looking for a refrigerator, they may go to GE or whatever. So they go to the actual brand site. And then 5% of them go to the marketplace, like eBay or the W Marketplace, like the one that's in the chat, or Etsy or whomever else, right? So that is where people actually start. So if you're looking to sell online, you should probably be on some of these platforms. Mainly what? Amazon. At least searchable, right? So folks know where you are, because that's where folks are searching first, right? Here are some of the top searches on Amazon. So when consumers do go to Amazon, there are trends showing that the items searched most often. So this data is the top 100 items searched for on Amazon. So they fall mostly into 5 categories, with electronics having the most at 51 items in electronics, right? So the top one has been the Nintendo Switch forever. I don't know what this thing is or why it's so popular, but I started doing this presentation in 2018. And every time I search, that Nintendo Switch is so high up there. And I'm like, what the world? So if anybody's selling Nintendo Switches, listen, it's time for you to make some money, okay? And then housewares are high up there. 22 items on the top 100 search are household items. So the air fryer, especially now, right? The Instapots, all of those things, okay? People being in the house and just wanting to, throw something in there and it'd be done at the end of the day. And then there's miscellaneous items, mostly gift cards and other items, okay? How much do you want to bet that when these numbers are updated, there's going to be a bunch of PPE items on there, high up there, right? High up there somewhere. It's going to be masks. It's going to be hand sanitizer. It's going to be shields, all kinds of things. How much I want to bet that that's going to be on that list pretty soon? Anybody want to bet, or anybody just agree with me? Who agrees with me? Because I like when folks agree with me. That too makes me happy. Agree with me. Thank you, Dory. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Colleen. I agree. I just feel like after a while, that is exactly what folks are searching for. I know I have gone on Amazon. This was just like a couple weeks ago. I bought a whole big 50 pack of the KN95 mask. And the reason why is because I like having that little beak where it's not smashing up against my face. I like having that little beak so when I wear my lipstick, it doesn't rub off, or just the fact that I feel like I can breathe a little better, right? So, and I don't shop in the stores that often anymore. I've gotten accustomed to going in. You couldn't get N95s before? Oh, I don't know. I'm just telling you, I went online to Amazon to buy them. Maybe they were available. I don't know. I'm just telling you, that's where I went. I got a 50 pack because we ran out and I don't remember the last time we bought them. Oh yeah, you're right about that. They were not available. You're right. Or you will be waiting for a zillion years for them to come in. So I'm super grateful for the fact that when I ordered them, they were there the next day. So I thank you for that. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. So that was Amazon's top searches. This is what consumers are typically purchasing online. Of the items on this chart, please type in the chat how many of these items you've purchased online prior to 2019. I never thought that I would be buying groceries online. Like, I just thought, what? Who buys groceries online? Don't you got to touch it, feel it, see it, sniff it, all of that stuff, poke it? And now it's like, I had a Shipt membership for, I think, a year. And I was just buying groceries online. Okay, 3 of the categories pre-2020. I think pharmacy stuff, vitamins, clothes and shoes, and even the electronics, maybe. But I don't know. I think we're in a new era, right? So 58% of US adults have purchased clothes and shoes online. 58%. Electronics are the second most popular type of product to purchase online, with 48% of all US adults having purchased a TV, a computer, a speaker, or headphones, or something online, right? And then there's the other things. Anything else that should be included on this chart that you see that may be left off? Just thinking about the last year that you know people are purchasing online. For sure, Colleen. Absolutely. People are drinking alcohol like never before, right? They get happy, they drinking. They sad, they drinking. They bored, they drinking. It's a lot of drinking going on. Makeup, yes. Home improvement. Oh my goodness, DIY. I'm gonna show y'all my vase in a minute. I made this vase the other day. I put some beads on it, and then I spray painted it silver. It's super cute. Okay, I've been doing all kinds of DIY stuff too. Restaurant orders, absolutely. I got a lot of clients that are restaurants that decided they're not opening back up. Everything they do is online and delivery and pickup now on. Yes, toys and games, jigsaw puzzles, all of those things. Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, is anyone willing to admit that they've been resistant to buying online? And I'm going to tell you just a quick story of one of my clients in Tacoma. This business had been in business for 16 years prior to COVID. You actually had to walk in to place your order, wait, like long wait times. I mean, they had the most horrible reviews on Yelp and Google because of the fact that you could not order online. You had to go in. And they said that some of the reviews said that they were kind of rude, weren't the most friendly, and they didn't have an online presence. They don't like the online, they didn't have an online presence. So this is prior to COVID. So when I first started meeting with them, it was in late 2018. And I was like, listen, I read the reviews online. I'm like, listen, you really need to upgrade your system. And she was really reluctant. Now, mind you, this lady is in her 70s and it's a mom and daughter operation. Her daughter is in her 40s, but the main owner is in her 70s. And so she was just really reluctant. She was like, I don't think that's necessary. Like, our sales are good. We're doing amazing. Like, you know, we have people that order and wait. Like, that's part of the experience. And I know a lot of younger folks, they do like the experience, and that waiting, I can't take it. Sometimes I go to places and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people in line, I don't even want it. Like, I hate waiting. But a lot of folks, they like that experience. But her whole idea was, no, I'm not doing it. I don't think it's necessary. I don't have the time to focus on that. I'm going to keep doing things business as usual. Guess what COVID did to her? Ready or not, here you come. It was like, whoop, pushed her right in out there. So at first, when Governor Inslee shut things down, it was like, oh, only essential workers. A lot of my clients didn't even know if they were essential workers or not. So they were like, I don't know if I should be open. Am I going to get fined? Am I going to get sued? Am I going to go to jail? And so she was one of those people where she was like, am I essential? I'm like, you food. Hello, people got to eat. So the thing was, she had no way for people to order online, no way for folks to even know she was open, right? Because what was we doing? When it first happened, we was on here looking up Google, like, did they update their hours? We were making phone calls. Hey, are you open? Can I place an order? She was overwhelmed. So lo and behold, we got her online. It took about 3 weeks. We got her a website. She was able to link up with Uber Eats and DoorDash. She was also able to place orders. They were able to place orders on the website and make phone calls. This day, as of today, she's 100% online. They've decided not to reopen. And guess what her sales did? Can you imagine what her sales did? Just by being online and having the opportunity for folks to get online to purchase. I'm gonna let y'all. So Melissa said doubled. Dory said doubled. That would be nice. Her sales tripled. Tripled. There are people that are supporting her business from all around the world, buying gift cards, and paying tips that are like astronomical, right? She said she got a tip one time for $500 and the order was like $17. People are really pouring into local, right? They want local, they want to support local. And so it's been a blessing. But my point is, because she was able to get online, she was able to really see substantial growth in her business and not have to fail. And so anybody that's reluctant or resistant to get online or even to purchase online, I just want to encourage you to do so. There are tons of benefits to developing or enhancing your e-commerce. Economics say online shopping has increased by over 25%. I think it was 32.4% actually. Excuse me, during the last 6 months. And I'm just going to highlight 3 reasons why. Some customers may not be in close proximity to you. So being online can increase your sales and your revenues to customers you wouldn't normally be attractive to. So most folks won't even drive from here to Quilla to Tacoma to shop, right? But they'll do it online. You may even get some sales from my hometown in Ohio, right? So my point is, having that online presence can increase your customer retention. It can absolutely increase your sales and revenues. And with e-commerce, you can attract those folks and possibly even more, like out of the country, right? So after your customer knows and trusts you, they may want to buy additional products from you, right? So people may buy in the middle of the night when the retail business is closed, and you do not want to make impulse shoppers wait, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to the next business and place their order. I'm one of them, okay? And then finally, eliminating or decreasing your overhead costs and transferring the shipping costs to the customer improves your profit margins. And I know I heard somebody, I heard in the chat a while ago where somebody said they don't order online because of shipping costs, right? So that's your consumer hat that you have on. What I need you to put on is your entrepreneur hat, right? And pass those costs on to the customer, right? So that may or may not be possible, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, okay? Any questions before I move on? Any questions? I'm going to talk about how to get online in just a moment. I just want to make sure, stop and pause for the calls and make sure that there are no questions. I don't want to be moving too fast.
Jenefeness, when we were working with clients through Commerce, you know, I put it into the chat. There were so many, when you said they didn't know they were open, they didn't have social media to say, hey, we're open, come on in.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, sometimes that's a smaller barrier for people, but it's scary too if they're not, if they're not, you know, used to it, because it's really a very personal, you know, outreach. So
it really is. And not only that, it's a heavy lift. Social media is no joke. You can't just go on there once a month or once sporadically. Like, that is a full-time job too. And that happened to my client, the one I was talking about in Tacoma. She had no presence, no social media, no website, nothing. And now she has all those things. And it's amazing to see the impact that she's making and also the engagement that she has on social media. People love the restaurant. So thank you for sharing that. And that's so true. So one of the questions that you should be asking about by now is, how in the world, what's the best way to get online? Nobody asked that. I gave you the opportunity to ask questions. Nobody asked me. So should I skip the slide? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not skipping anything. So anyways, how to get online. You can do something super simple as adding a shopping cart. Most websites have that feature. Like, if you already have a fully functioning website, most of us do, right? There's a feature where you can add a shopping cart, right? It's a standalone store. You can do a standalone store. You can add a shopping cart, but we're just going to cover two ways that you can get online, two simple ways that you can get online, okay? So if you already have a functional website, you do not need to build something new, right? You don't have to go out and spend additional money to build something new. The first way that you can get online is just adding that shopping cart feature. And every online site needs a built-in shopping cart platform in order to collect money. So some people feel like, well, I'm already online. I already have a business online. I already have a website. Okay, but do you have a shopping cart feature? Because if the only thing that you can gather information is when you have a feature that says, connect with us, or leave your information, or join our website, or join our distro list, or whatever, that's not going to get you any sales. So you have to have a built-in shopping cart platform to collect payment, whether it's an independent site or integrated into your web hosting plan. And so that's probably one of the simplest ways for you to get online. And there are tons of them. Like, these are just a few of them, right? So you got all these ones over here, right? Listen, we have done some research, and we can provide you with a few resources to help you decide which platform to use based on your industry. Because experts will say, oh, if you create experiences, you should probably be over here. Or if you have a product, you should probably be over here. Or if your product is have a niche, then a lot of people in this niche buy over here. And so listen, there are tons of ways that you can get online. I will say that there are some top e-commerce softwares. So this is the second way, and that's building a website on one of these e-commerce softwares. There are hundreds of them, right? But these are rated the highest and easiest, most user-friendly ones. So these are the ones that I would tell my clients. I know a lot of folks that use Wix, and a lot of people say, oh, it's so easy, it's user-friendly, right? So e-commerce software allows you to create and manage an online store. You'll use this software to manage your products, your sites, your operations, and everything else related to your online sales. So either add it to your existing website or create one in one of these easy, user-friendly type sites, okay? You can also use a third-party payment vendor like PayPal or Square or Cash App. And Square, you can create a website for free, and you can point your domain to it. Or you could just use their long whatever domain, right? And nowadays, most of the social media platforms have stores too. I was on the phone, on the Facebook talking to my brother the other day, And at the bottom, it says, do you want to send money? I'm like, send money? What? So yeah, a lot of the third party or the social media has ways that you can send money to. Are there free versions enough? Yes, the free versions are enough. Absolutely. And they're absolutely enough for you to get started, right? It may not be something that you want to use forever, but it's absolutely enough for you to get started and start to collect money during this holiday season, because we already seen those numbers. Folks are going to be shopping, and we don't want to miss out on those numbers because we don't have something grandiose. I am a strong proponent of a lean startup. Just do the bare minimum until you have enough to do more, right? So yes, use one of these free versions, get yourself online, make sure folks know that you're out there, and start collecting money. Thank you for that question, Melissa. I appreciate it. As an educator, I love questions. Here's another option. You can have an affiliate do your e-commerce for you. Let someone else get you online, okay? So companies like Uber Eats or Groupons or Airbnb or Netflix, you can get online that way, right? You don't have to be the person who puts your business online. For example, I have an Airbnb. I don't advertise at all. I don't advertise. I don't do anything. I set it up. I have someone managing it, and I make a lot of money there. That's one of my passive income streams, right? And so it's just a way that I don't do a whole lot of anything. I set it up and that's it. That's it. I go, if I change my furniture, which I've done recently, I might update it. And there's my link to my Airbnb. But my point is, you can use one of these third-party affiliate e-commerce sites to get your business up and running, depending upon what your business is, right? I just saw on Groupon, was it Groupon or Uber Eats? I was watching a football game the other day, and one of them is now delivering doggy treats from PetSmart. They're like, oh, get it on Uber Eats or get it. I said, they are so brilliant. Listen, I am loving the brilliance that takes place when we are going through pandemic. It's like, wait a minute, these folks ain't bringing their pets in. How can we get it to them? Let's go with Uber Eats. I don't know if it's Uber Eats or DoorDash or one of the others, but one of them, these folks are delivering dog treats now. Okay. Let me see. What else? What else I want to say here? Oh, depending upon your business, can you think of any affiliates that you can collaborate with that's in your industry that can get you online faster? Or here's the awesome part. Even if you're already online, being on a third-party site can help you with your search engine optimization. It can make you rank higher so folks can find you sooner. So can you think of any affiliates that you can collaborate with to make sure that your business is being seen and online? Y'all can't think of any? Oh, great question. I was definitely going to get to that. Thank you for that. This is a good way to get your business recognized, but please know that affiliate marketing, they get a share or percentage of your sales. So yes, anytime you're using any of these affiliates, they're definitely going to get a share because they are going to charge you to be on their platform. And that is the way that they generate business, right? So yes, that's one of the things I tell a lot of my clients who are on Uber Eats or DoorDash. Make sure that when you're making those deliveries, you put something in that bag that says, next time, order through our website. Next time, or that type of thing, especially when folks are coming in to pick up their order and they've ordered through one of these sites and you still have to pay them this large percentage. So yes, thank you for that question. Absolutely, they're going to take a percentage of that money for sure. Okay. So while you're thinking about it, remember, I mentioned that e-commerce is not for everybody. It should be for all of us, but it's not for everybody. It's up to you to decide. But I will say this, everyone is ready to get online to start their e-commerce business, but you really need to be ready. You got to be ready. Okay. So ready or not, here you come. You have to be discoverable, right? You have to make sure that just because you have a website, don't think that somebody's going to come there. Just because you built it, they're not going to come. So you got to build an online brand. You got to build an online presence. You got to revise your marketing plan. Once you start selling online, that's like a whole different avenue to your business. So you probably need an entire marketing plan just for e-commerce, right? You got to use consumer insights. You got to monitor frequently, right? If people are not shopping or if people are not converting, that's something that you need to identify. You got to help your customers in new ways. And so many amazing businesses are doing that right now because of COVID, right? And you have to constantly prepare for what's next because things are changing so rapidly. Like I said, if you build it, they won't just come. That is a myth, okay? I've talked to so many folks and I'm not laughing, but they say, I have a website, but no one is buying anything. Or 200 people place items in their shopping cart, but they never made a purchase. Guess what? That is a conversion problem, right? So here's the e-commerce conversion funnel. If about 1,000 visitors come to your site, 70% of them actually go to the shopping area. If you have a shopping area, right? 35% of them actually place something in the cart, and then only 5% of them purchase. So website conversion rates vary depending on the industry and the business model. E-commerce conversion rates are low, typically between 1.84%, and 3.71%. So 5% is really high. So the best way for you to convert is to get more people to visit the site. So that means you have to get a ton of visitors to actually come to see a significant increase in your sales. Just because you build it does not mean they will come, okay? Now, if clients aren't completing their purchases, in other words, if they aren't being converted, that's a conversion problem. And you have to find out why they aren't purchasing. And sometimes it can be as easy as just asking them, like, why didn't you purchase? What happened? And that's why now, and I want you to put on your entrepreneur hat, when you go to certain websites, the first thing they want to do is get your email address. Because they know that it's more than likely 98% of the time you're not going to convert. But if they have your email address, they can possibly say, hey, you abandoned your cart. Hey, we have a sale going on. Hey, I saw you were looking at blah, blah, blah. So that's the reason why you got to have something on your website that collects email addresses so that you can go back and remarket to those folks, right? So most consumers, just like in the chat box earlier, most consumers expect free shipping, regardless of where the item's coming from, regardless of how big the item is, regardless. And we all know that there's a supply chain issue right now, right? We know that this thing is not going away no time soon. So shipping costs have increased like crazy. Shipping times have increased like crazy, right? But consumers still expect to get it on time and they want it free, right? So the other thing too is some consumers just might not be ready to purchase right away. There's been times where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm scrolling, I want to purchase, and then they ask me for my CVV code on the back. They have my credit card number, but in order for them, that's a security feature. They want to know, is this really you? What's the CVV? I didn't remember all the CVVs on every single card. So I may have to go back and get the CVV number and start doing something else. I walk past the laundry room and feel like I got to put a load in and be done forgot about it by the time I sit back on the couch. So knowing that is just a matter of convenience, right? And then you also got to know that a lot of us are making really strategic buying decisions. So we're doing a lot of shopping around. So people might just be coming to your site to compare a price with someone else. So knowing that will help you get more people to convert, okay? So just remember that building e-commerce doesn't always equate to increased sales. This is not to discourage you. It's just to educate you on the fact that it takes a lot of work to actually build it and actually start to see sales being converted, okay? But here's some strategies, here's some good news, here's some hope, right? Once you get online, we know the work doesn't stop, but you can maintain your e-commerce platform, and it can be like running a well-oiled machine, okay? And here's how you do that. You use automation for follow-up. Just like those abandoned cart features where they send you an email, use automation. Automation is the new discipline. It's the best thing since, I don't know, email, okay? And email is amazing. But some of the best strategies involve marketing, selling, and fulfillment, right? So make sure that you're shipping goods in a timely manner. Some people don't mind paying more if they're getting quality, if they're getting local, if they're getting handmade, if they're getting custom. They don't mind paying more. But what they do want is customer service. You got to have enhanced customer service. If you say, hey, I'm sorry, we're out of that product and we don't expect it in until mid-2022. If they want it bad enough, they'll wait for it. If they feel like respected in their buying decision, they'll wait for it, right? Offer as much value as possible. And oftentimes that does not equate to free things. It just equates to better customer service and all kinds of things that you can build into your experience, okay? Ask for reviews and testimonials. Oh my goodness. Social capital nowadays is more important than money. It's more important than a tip. Like, this is the tip, right? Social capital is the tip. If people can just give you a review to make the next person want to buy from you, that's more than giving you $20 or $100 tip, right? And speaking of reviews and social capital, here's my link. I've been talking for almost an hour, so I'm going to take a quick break. It's going to be 4 minutes. I'm going to come back in 4 minutes. But while I'm taking a break, I encourage you all to take a break too, because I'm serious. Human beings, we are not meant to be sitting on this Zoom screen all day, every day. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm just dropping my link in the chat. If you would like to provide a review, I would greatly appreciate it. That means more to me than any $20 bill or even $100 bill. So I'm going to shut up and take a quick break, and I'll be right back to finish this up. Okay, I'm back. I hope y'all back. Is everybody back? Just type in the chat box, I'm back. Okay, thank you, Robin. Thank you, Colleen. I just need to know if I need to give another couple seconds or a minute or so. I see 2 of you are back. All I need is 1 more and then I'll keep going. Okay, thank you, Pete. And Melissa, thank you. Okay, listen, there's a whole lot of other things to consider when getting online. By no means have I covered everything, but these are really the basics and the basic things that you need to consider prior to doing so. Additionally, you will need to know a little bit more about search engine optimization, keywords, participant algorithms, optimization, and so much more. The beauty of some of these social media platforms and the artificial intelligence that's going on with them is that they are building a lot of this in for you, which some folks don't like, right? Because they're like, oh my goodness, oh, my privacy and that type of thing, which I understand it. But what I'm saying is they are building a lot of these things into these platforms for you. So it's taken away some of the guesswork and taken away some of the hard work, right? But I've not covered any of these things and I can't cover these things in any type of way in this particular setting. But I wanted to make sure that you're aware that it takes more than just getting online, okay? These things are also important. I must also include a little bit of information about international sales. In order for you to maximize your business, you have to go outside of the United States. The United States is only 6% of the opportunities that are available for e-commerce, right? So I have clients who accidentally make international sales and also others who want to get started in a specific market or a country. Either way, it requires a strategy because you never understand or you just really don't know what type of things are necessary or required to be in other countries. Things are done differently in China than over here in Seattle, right? You might get asked if you had Alibaba to make purchases. The shipping costs are so much more. Thank you, Melissa, you're so right. When I was in China, I remember me and my daughter, we went to this like a thrift, not a thrift store, but like a flea market type place where everybody's selling all kinds of stuff. And some people want to keep their expenses or their sales under the radar. So they'll ask you like, hey, do you have this platform? And I'm over there like, what? First of all, I don't even hardly understand a lot of the language or you know, what you're saying. And now you're asking me if I have an app that I have no clue about. Can you just take this card, please? But I was shocked that some platforms are not even available, like Google and Facebook. You know, those things have been banned over there. And so you can't even pull up certain things on your phone or certain apps. So understanding how to do business in other countries can be a challenge in and of itself. And I'm just talking from the consumer side, not even from, you know, the entrepreneur side. But if you're considering making a purposeful international sale with your e-commerce site, you really need to do your research. You need to make sure that it is compatible with what other people are seeing in other countries, right? And it'd be good to understand what the demand is, what the competition is, the e-commerce platforms, and even like things like labeling. I had a client who had a barbecue sauce that he was selling to another country. And when they agreed to purchase it and sell it over there, but once they got it, they were like, we don't like these labels. So he had to repackage his entire brand so his labels were compliant, even though he had transferred the labels into their language and done all that and spent a lot of money doing it. It was the colors. Colors mean a lot in certain places. So we have to be mindful of things that are okay over here are not okay over there, right? So e-commerce, if you're willing and want to get into selling online, we have, first of all, the Veteran Business Operations Center. They will provide you with free industry analysis from IBIS World, which are amazing. usually like 25 to 40 page reports that would normally cost you $1,500 to $2,000. They'll give those to you for free. So that's the Veteran Business Operations Center. Then the Small Business Development Center, like Robin had introduced you to earlier, they have an entire research department that can help you research e-commerce in international sales, international trade. They can help you even go on a trade mission to a different country to be able to identify if this is the right market for you. So tons of support out there to help you get into another country if that is something that you want to do. So just a little bit of review. We talked about the products that U.S. consumers have purchased online. We talked about where U.S. consumers start doing their shopping. We talked about some possible platforms. We talked about an e-commerce conversion funnel. We did all of those things. Are there any questions? Are there any questions right now? Any other tools? I know, Melissa. Thank you. Pete asked the question, are there any other tools like a printer, a box, or tape, or other equipment you need to sell online that made it easier or efficient or not obvious you needed when you start selling online? So absolutely, anytime you're going to make a sale, you're going to have to package it. You're going to have to package it properly. Just think about here in the Pacific Northwest where it's raining a lot, right? You put a soggy box on somebody's porch and maybe they're out of town. Maybe they're already gone for holiday and they come back and whatever you've sent them is now destroyed, right? So you have to be mindful of where you're shipping things to, and how you need to ship them best so that they can be in their best shape when the customer actually unravels them or unpacks them. So yes, Pete, to answer that question, absolutely. And you just have to be mindful, like maybe it's not the box that you put it in, but maybe it's the plastic that you wrap it in before you put it in the box. Making sure that, and again, that whole experience is important to people. The unveiling and unwrapping, that's a whole industry now. Do you know children are making like millions of dollars a year just by doing unveiling or unboxing on YouTube? So that whole experience needs to be amazing so folks understand, oh my goodness, I really love my purchase. I have no buyer's remorse, right? So make sure that your packaging is something that has that wow factor, because people are expecting that nowadays. How do you determine shipping costs? Let me go back to that question. You're welcome. Thank you for asking. The question was, I keep scrolling and then going past it. Okay, here we go. The question is, how do you determine shipping costs and the best way to pass that cost on to your customer? So that is a great question, and it's really going to depend on what you're shipping. So one of the things that I would highly recommend is doing shipping with a local company. That's number one, because they have already researched all of those shipping costs. And it's quite possible with all of the shipping issues we have right now, it may be possible for them to ship your things with another customer, which will reduce the cost for you. For example, if there's, I don't know, I'm just making something up, but if there's a box that's going to the East Coast, they may be able to ship it all in one box to another company who then disperses it, right? So if you use a local company where other local companies might be using them, you can probably get a better deal. So that's one point that I would make. But there's several different ways. There's freight forwarders. Freight forwarders will be able to assist you in making sure that you're getting the best price when you're shipping things. There are companies out here, just like your company and my company, who do this for a living. So do your research. I know it's not an easy answer, but there's definitely opportunities. Somebody, and as a follow-up question, is drop shipping better? It depends, because your quality, you don't know what they're shipping out, right? And so for me, I feel like continuity and quality is super duper important for anything that I'm presenting. So I am not going to trust that to a drop shipper because I don't know what you're sending out to my customer. And I won't know until I either get a compliment or a complaint. And that's something that I don't want. And so it depends on what it is, right? If it's a t-shirt, if it's, I don't know, it just depends on the item. It depends on you. It depends on what your quality level is. For me, I would not be doing drop shipping. I love to see, to handle, to feel, to make sure that the quality of the item that my client is getting is one that's going to make me get a compliment and not a complaint. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. How about returns? How do you adjust for shipping costs all around if your stuff is not lightweight? That's a really great question. And so one of the things that is crazy and funny at the same time, one of my clients, she posted on Facebook just the other day. She said, why am I shipping the same thing today that I shipped last week and it costs $50 more? Because there's supply chain issues. Shipping right now is just through the roof. And so to answer your question about returns, you don't have to have free returns. Most people do, especially like Amazon, but we know we're not Amazon, right? So having free returns might be prohibitive for you and your company, right? It's not, we can't do it. I'm sorry. And that's why it's important to survey, ask a ton of questions up front before you send out anything. And that way you'll have less returns coming back to you, right? Because you've done your due diligence on the front line to where you know what your customer wants. And once they get it, they're going to be satisfied. Again, that whole experience. When they open that thing, there's no way they're going to send it back because it was just so amazing. They've already took pictures and videos and everything else because that's what folks are doing nowadays. But that's one way. To answer your second question, adjust for shipping costs all around. How do you adjust for shipping costs all around, especially if your stuff is not lightweight? That is a good question because honestly, I bought this picture. I don't know if you all can see my living room, but I bought this artwork and I wanted to send it to my son for his birthday. And it was not expensive at all. But when I went to UPS to see how much it was going to cost to send, I said, oh boy, bye. I said, you better make you a picture because it was, it was like 3 times as much as the picture. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, son. I'm going to have to get you something else for your birthday. Matter of fact, here's some Cash App. I was just like, there's no way I'm sending this picture. I don't remember exactly what the cost was, but it was so prohibitive. Just as a gift, as a parent, just sending something to your child. I was like, oh no, this is crazy. So I don't even have an answer for that because I have not figured that out. Because I really wanted him to have this picture for his living room and it didn't happen because I wasn't paying that. Okay. Oh goodness. Pete said, I like your website. How do you get featured on all those media outlets? Great question. So Pete, to answer your question, I'm pretty phenomenal, like phenomenal. Okay. I know this about myself, but in addition to that, I've been doing this for 16 years. I'm not a novice. I've been teaching for 18 years. And I've been doing public speaking for 16 years. I've written 5 books. So I've been out there. I've been doing this for a long time. And so that's how I've gotten featured to do certain things. And this is my business. I'm a public speaker. And so I get featured in a lot of those different platforms because of the type of work that I do. So thank you for asking that question. I love these questions, y'all. Any other questions before we wrap up? I do want to say that Robin will make sure that you get the replay. And I will make sure that Robin gets the presentation in case you want to look at the presentation again. Okay. Oh, yes, 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 and yes. Anytime that you've been featured, you can repurpose that content. You can use it over and over and over again. It could be 17 years old and you can make it brand new today. So anytime you've been featured anywhere, absolutely use that content, okay? I'm telling you, I have gotten people who ask me to do like the simplest thing, like, hey, can you come and talk on my podcast? Will you be a part of this panel? Will you do this? I'm like, I never say no. I never, ever, ever say no, because I know that most times when I do something like this, I usually end up booking a meeting from a meeting. So even with me speaking to you all, there's going to be some of you that say, hey, I want her to come speak at my event. And guess what? You're going to pay me to do so. So I'm like, yes, yes, absolutely, I will. I want to tell you all about something else. So I got a contract with MBDA. That's the Minority Business Development Association, I think, the Washington MBDA. Well, one of the things that they are doing is they are providing, because they all got this ARPA money that they need to spend up. So I have a contract with them, and they are paying for one-on-one technical assistance. So if any of your businesses are in the state of Washington and you need some one-on-one technical assistance, they are paying for up to 3 hours of one-on-one technical assistance so that I can help you build a solution for your business, whether it's around e-commerce, whether it's around business credit, looking at projections, whatever. So contact the Washington, and let me put the email address in the chat for y'all to make it just that much easier. Hold on. So go ahead and ask another question while I'm looking for that. Ask away. Let me find their email address real quick. Like I said, these folks got that ARPA money, that COVID money that they need to spend up and helping small businesses. And this is the way they do it, right? By collaborating with amazing companies like mine and yours. Okay. So that's who you contact for that. Oh, thank you so much. Do you get a PPP? Oh, do you get a PPE loan? Oh, did I get a PPP loan? Is that what the question is? PPP or PPE? Did you get a PPE loan? No, I did not. I didn't even know there was loans for PPE. I know there are a lot of grants for PPE, but no. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the Paycheck Protection Program loan. That is the one through the SBA that went through the banks. As far as me in particular, no, I did not. I didn't even apply. I wasn't even running my business full time. I was actually working full time. And so I wasn't running my business full time at the time. And so I didn't even try to get it. I didn't even think it was necessary. I know it was available, but I didn't. Okay, well, if there were no more questions, you all have my contact information. I am going to put it in the chat one more time, but I am available. I am here. I love doing this stuff. I am willing and able to do it at any time. I'm going to turn it back over to Robin.
Thank you, Jenefeness, and thanks everyone who joined us this afternoon. Make sure to use the email address that Jenefeness provided for you if you have follow-up questions. And like she mentioned, I will definitely get the recording out to you all. It'll also be posted on our website on the Let's Talk Business Library and our YouTube. And you can always send an email out to us if you have questions about any of our resources. But thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon.
Thank you.